Today we're going to have a presentation from the Gloucester-Mathews Humane Society and also a volunteer program underneath of them, the Friends of Gloucester County Community Cats. And we have three speakers with us today. We have Waynette Petty right here, who is the volunteer coordinator at the GMHS. She's been there since 2017. And then we have Deborah Butler, who is a volunteer at GMHS. She's been a volunteer with them since 2015 and is a co-administrator of the Friends of Gloucester County Community Cats. And she's been with that group since June of 2023. And then we have Katie Evans, who is also a volunteer with Gloucester-Mathews Humane Society and a co-administrator of the Community Cats group since the fall of 2023. So they are going to highlight the developing vision for GMHS and brand new opportunities for involvement at the shelter, and highlighting today the Community Cats group.
Well, some of the new developments at GMHS with our previous director, Charles, he wanted to get more community involved than we had before. So we're looking to the future. We are supposedly breaking ground in August, I've heard, but we've heard this since February, so a lot of tape and things that have to be done for our new education center, which we will be able to invite people to who are having issues with their dogs, need training. Many other things. We'll have events. We've been doing birthday parties for children, summer camps. This was our first summer camp this summer. We did 2 different groups, and it was very fun. We learned a lot and things we will change for next year if we continue with the program. We have movie night. We have paused it until October because the lobby is so bright you cannot see the movie, but up until July we were still doing that. We also do monthly, well, it's twice a month. We do animal craft activities where any kids, these are free. You can come in, bring your kids. We have a reading program that we started last February. And we have little punch cards, so kids any age. We have a little small library that they can come pick a book or bring their own and sit in front of kennels. We'll pull puppies out, go into the cat rooms, and read to the animals. So far, we think it's been very enjoyable, and they get, once they read so many books, cute little trinket toys for them, or they get animal toys they can use with the animals they're reading to. This year, I believe the end of September, and this one will be more family oriented. As last year we had a lot of feedback. We asked the community, how could we make it better? And they said more kids activities. So that's definitely how we're changing it. We're doing another trunk or treat. Looked into doing a haunted trail, but we're not sure we're at that level. None of us know how to start or organize that. We're working on it. But we take animals usually every week to different community groups. Vula and Caitlin are in charge of that, and they do an amazing job. And Vula, if you've never met her, she is our children behavioral animal humane educator, and she's amazing. She used to do volunteer, and then she came on as an adoption specialist, but her specialty is kids. For the future of the shelter, we are looking to add a reflection area, dog park, boarding facility. We're going to be moving spay and neuter probably next year onto the facility premises. Once it is there and running for a few months, we are going to open it up to the public, where it just won't be spaying and neutering. It will be low-cost vet care. We're already doing some low-cost vet care for the community, especially with euthanasia. So far, we've done 12 animals where people could not afford the services due to the high rising cost of vet care. We helped a gentleman who was on Social Security, and he had a 15-year-old German Shepherd he adored. But it was time, so he had been quoted about anywhere from $460 to close to $600 to euthanize his beloved pet. Our team and our vet, Dr. V, she was able to do it for $78, which was how much the dog weighed. So a lot cheaper. And if they can't pay, we can work with that too. Some of our other things we are doing is a picnic area. We are supposed to break ground in that, I've been told, in February, but we will see. It depends on the weather. Currently at the shelter, we have 378 pets. We have 110 in cats and kittens and foster, and then 1 dog, so 111. We are doing fostering. We have 182 fosters with us currently. 587 volunteers total, 12 are board members. Then we have 188 dog people, 140 cat people, and 65 that drive transports for us. And we're looking to add as many. If you have 10 minutes or 10 hours, it's up to you. We wanted to make it as easy as possible when I took over volunteering to volunteer. So there are no minimum hour requirements. If you have time to spend with an animal, we can make that happen. And we allow younger children now. They do have to be, so by law, it is 16 at the animal shelter. But if you come with your parent, we can do volunteers that are much younger. We have several whole families that come in and walk dogs. Now, of course, usually not the bigger ones if you have tiny kids, but the smaller puppies, the cat rooms. That way it's more inclusive and they build a love for animals because they are future generations. And if anybody needs a rooster, we did get one in 2 weeks ago. Our roosters tend to stay for 7-8 months to a year. So we have a new rooster, and he's actually pretty nice. He did try to escape once. We have 314 cats in the shelter, 48 dogs, 5 guinea pigs, and 5 rabbits. But we have our own feral colony, and we work with the Community Cat Feral Group. We have 43 feral cats on premises that are vetted, spayed, neutered. We have a barn out back that they can come and go. We feed them twice a day. And most of them have kind of gotten fairly friendly with us, where in the shelter they tried to kill us a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, included in the vision and the mission currently at GMHS and also in the future is an emphasis on trap, neuter, and release. Yes. So, okay, that's great. And as you can hear from Waynette's numbers, this is a reason why trap, neuter, release, their numbers, is part of the ongoing vision for there. So what is TNR, as we call it for short? And it's really a humane way to control feline populations through spaying and neutering cats that are already in an outside environment away from the shelter and are basically unhomed. And you spay and neuter them, you vaccinate them, treat them for whatever might be going on at the moment, and then return them to those environs in which they live. And when they are returned, they need food, they need shelter, they need some ongoing observation and some care to keep that a healthier population that is outside of being homed. And the whole point of doing that is to reduce the stress on rescues and shelters because they cannot take everybody, and we know that. So that's one of the reasons why the Friends of Gloucester County Community Cats was formed a little over a year ago. It's not that there aren't already people out there trapping cats and returning them, and people with colonies who have been feeding them for years, or neighborhood strays or whatever. That's been going on. But what we decided we would do was to try to bring some kind of organization to that. All those efforts that people are making. You know, can we connect people better together to help each other out in this community? So we are a group of community volunteers who are trying to offer that ongoing support to cat caretakers when the cats return. So for us, the TNR has a dash and a C after it, which means care. And we know that when people get the cats back after TNR, all those people that are already taking care of colonies and strays and so forth, they sometimes really do need help. Because that's a really arduous task, depending on how large the group of cats is that that you have, that you're taking care of. So that's kind of our group definition. That's what we're aiming to do. We do have a connection to GMHS right now. While we are a volunteer community group, we're connected. We have worked out with the shelter that people can come in with community cats and get some food from time to time if they're strapped, and they need to do that. We do make announcements. GMHS remembers us, and we can make announcements about free straw or free services that are available, and we can do that to our community, our growing community, which Katie will talk about in a few minutes. We rely on staff help a lot. We rely on their facilities to have our meetings, which they've so graciously given us. And most important, we have a line item for community cats, for donations and for the kinds of benefit work that we've been able to do. So the need for this group is very evident, because last year in Fixing to Save, the local spay-neuter, low-cost place that GMHS supports, there were 414 feral cats that were fixed and returned in Gloucester, 41 in Mathews, 120 in Middlesex, for a total of 577. And when you think about maybe half of those were females, and that females can produce several litters a year of maybe 4 or 5 kittens, then you bloom with lots and lots of cats and kittens if that's not restricted by a constant vigilant focus on TNR. PETA also came in to the county. They're working with our group too last year, and spayed and neutered over 100 cats in one day and returned them to their owners. So that's, again, even less and less of these animals who are out there and may be sick or injured or not taken care of or not fed. So we wanted to know what we were in for in trying to help support care for returned cats to their sites. And so we've been spending the year kind of looking at who's out there. And while the numbers I quoted you just now of the cats that have been fixed, that are feral, that have gone back home, is just a fraction of what we think is really out there in these 3 counties, it's a start. And the same thing for what we found in terms of existing colonies and so forth. We found at least 48 traditional colonies in this county alone, with anywhere from 5 or 6 cats to 70, okay, and 1 keeper in 1 place. We found at least 4 multi-site colonies, which is when feeders, either one, in the case of my team, which is Gloucester Courthouse Community Feeders, we have a team of about 6, so we can go once a day each week. There are about 18 to 20 cats in a lot of these multi-site colonies, and the feeders have to go to them and observe them for injuries and sickness, as well as make sure they have water and food and shelter. And I've found at least 15 neighborhood stray colonies, which go anywhere from 8 or 10, with several neighbors taking care of them and fixing them, to 18 to 20 in that neighborhood that are fed by several neighbors. And again, 54 people on our Facebook site said, yeah, I feed cats all the time, 1 to 3. So at least 54 of the number that are on our Facebook site are doing the same kind of thing. And again, this is a fraction. I'm sure we just do not know the whole picture of what's out there. So, as we formed the group, we decided, we checked with people that had cats, and we came up with several group aims based on what people said they needed.
So we basically just want to keep continuing education and advocacy for community cats. Hopefully getting to go to local meetings, Virgin Club, things like that, to just help further spread the word and get it out there, and let them know that there is support for these people who are trying to help care for these homeless cats. We want to help feed throughout our colony, caretakers, help provide a list of people who can step in if somebody's going to be gone, so that there's a continuity of, constant food resources for these animals, and fundraising and finding donors, obviously, to help us get funds for food, medical expenses, as Dad mentioned, And what else? Educating trappers and assistance with trapping for TNR.
Yeah, there you go.
We, again, hope to attend some meetings in the county for other organizations to help spread the word. We've many times dropped off traps to people that have requested that they need assistance on the Facebook group, showing them how to operate traps. So we're letting people know that it's really not as hard as you would think it would be to catch a cat, although sometimes we know it is. But so we are there for that support and education. And then we still would like to create low-cost housing and also teaching caretakers how to do this. There are several ways, from a fancy plywood with shingled roof, and you can make a home out of a styrofoam cooler with straw. So there's several different ways that you can help keep these cats out of the elements. And
Yeah, all
that's
right. You. So we've really only had our first meeting, as I said, last June, and we've grown in meetings across the fall and visited several organizations. So we've had 5 community cat meetings this past year. One of them in January was training for trappers. We invited people to come in to learn how to trap so that we wouldn't be the only ones out there doing it. Although this area is really lucky to have 4 or 5 major long-term trappers that run dates at Fixin' to Save and get in a whole lot of cats that they return to their sites. So at any rate, we wanted to try to make that more robust, to make that a little bit better situation. We held 2 fundraisers in the spring of 2024. One of them up here was a paint night, which Kelly Richards, an artist at Arts on Main, graciously allowed us her time to do this paint night. And so we made money to go into that line item at GMHS to help bolster what could be done with food and what could be done with needed medical care for the people that have these cats but don't necessarily have the ability to pay for a vet. And then we created, this thanks to Katie, a Facebook site, finally. I have an email list from the first couple of meetings, and so I still get out things via email and text to people when they need to know things, because some people don't have Facebook. But Katie created the Facebook site, Friends of Gloucester County Community Cats, so you can Google it and you can join it if you would like to and see what we're doing. And that was created for networking and education, too. So we have over 180 so far,
Over
people.
180.
Yeah, and I do have flyers up here for you if you want to take one that sort of encapsulates on one page what we're talking about. So,
And it has the QR code. If you want to scan it with your phone, it'll take you directly to our group's website.
right. And for those that don't have Facebook, I send out something called the newsletter to the email list. So I know it was too cute, but anyway. So I've done a couple of those newsletters so far. And then we started so we could do a visual. Some of our people are very visual. We started to map those colonies I talked about, those different types of colonies. And I actually have a map, a big Gloucester County map in the back where I've put different colored dots where all of these different identified colonies and places are. It's kind of messy looking, but Ernie Brown at GMHS is trying to code it in digitally. And I didn't make a slide of this, but this is what the kind of thing she's doing. And so, she's just got a few of them in right now, and she's got them coded for size over here. So eventually we'll have a map we can just look at. I have a list now. We've divided the county into 5 geographic areas, and I have a list of who on our site and who on our list are in those areas that could maybe be potential helpers for those people who have those particular kinds of needs. And then there's some more anecdotal impacts that I think Katie will talk about a little bit.
So last winter, we were able to get over 20 feeders and shelters, may have been a little bit more than that, out to people who needed it.
Can you go back 2 slides? So I think right there. This is,
That's a feeder.
yeah, that's a feeder that Katie's husband made. And it's got a bottom way in because we were having trouble with buzzards eating the cat's food. So it's covered and it's got chicken wire or something around it. And Johnny created a way in from the bottom that the buzzards don't seem to really figure out. And the cats will come in and they'll eat in peace. So, and you can see the doghouse on the side and the little tiny feeder here. You can use anything, really.
Yeah, so that was a great benefit that a lot of people really appreciated, knowing that their animals would have something to go into. Also, again, with PETA, we were able to get a big drop off at my house of straw that we were able to give to these people when they came to pick up their shelters. Trying to think what else. Let's see. PETA information, trapping how gets. Oh, so PETA, we've been able on our site be able to post when PETA is going to come into town. Again, lend out trappers, lend out traps, and assist them in getting to PETA's event so that they can be spayed or neutered. We are supporting existing trappers and getting the kittens to the shelter or to be fixed along with unfixed adults. We are not a rescue. Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was on that slide or not. We're not a rescue, as we all said, and we do not assist in rehoming, but when asked by people, we do try to help get these cats to places where they may be better cared for or safer environment. And I think that's pretty much it, unless you have any others.
Yeah, I just yesterday, I'm probably getting, and I'm sure this is true for you, probably 2 or 3 requests a week, either on the Facebook site or directly to me saying, can you help with this? You know, because people just want to find out, you know, can you help? And if you can, you try, and if you can't, you just admit that right away because you can't do everything. But 2 days ago, a major trapper in Middlesex said, I'm inundated with kittens. I don't have as many fosters as you guys have got, so can you help? So we put that up onto our Facebook site, and immediately I said, PM me, because we don't want to share everybody's information or locations or anything like that. We want the people who need to talk to each other to talk to each other. And so 3 people came forward and said that they would foster, and I talked to one this morning who's gotten 2 little kittens from this person that she is to socialize, and then they'll be adopted out in a few weeks. And so 2 or 3 of those kinds of requests, either for trapping or, you know, can you help us medically? You know,
Yeah, so we actually did last week. We had somebody that had a obviously not well-looking cat. He's a senior cat, and she was hoping to get it to a rescue. We couldn't find anyone to take him in, so she offered to be his permanent caretaker. With the gracious help of GMHS, he was able to get medical care. He's currently on antibiotic. So she's making him comfortable with the time that he has left, and he's retired his street days.
And he's an example of a community cat that was simply abandoned when his owner just moved out. And he's almost 18 at this point. He wouldn't have survived the winter at all. And so that's the kind of thing that we see, and I know you see it all the time. And I know it sounds like, you know, we're giving anecdotal little cases here and there, but we are over time getting more and more requests that we think that we can help with. And so, you know, I think that one thing I always try to remember is that you cannot change the world for every cat, but for one cat, you can change the world for that one cat. And so, you know, it is sometimes an individual case-by-case thing. So what we do need to do, and I think this is the last slide, is questions. So our question for you is, how can GRC help? And we thought of a few things. One is, if you have a group that you want to invite us to talk to create awareness again about TNR and about the community cat group and the kinds of help we need, that would be great. If you can help us find more volunteers, that would be great, because we're always in need of volunteers. I mean, you have a lot, but I think your volunteers are trained to do something a little bit different from what our volunteers are.
And
you know,
still reach out.
Yeah. Right, and you do reach out for us to your group sometime soon. It's just with our group, you have to greet them with a pair of replica gloves, you know, which if you don't know what those are, they're gloves up to here so that
It's a little intimidating.
yeah, it's a little intimidating. So, and you do have to get your feet muddy occasionally, and, you know, you might have to chase down a cat, and you have to sit by a trap for a while, so, you know. And you do have to train trappers. Poor Katie had to be trained on the drop trap by me, and of course, we had 4 cats under the drop trap, and I pull the string and all of them escaped. So I went, it's not supposed to work like that. And then the third thing would be to help us find donors and donations through our, the money fundraisers we've already done so far. We've made, and birthday fundraisers too. I have to include those. If we include all
Yard
of that,
sale.
we've probably made over $2,000 so far this spring for our line item.
Yeah, the yard sale on probably
Yes.
the hottest day in June. The Tractor Supply area that has Deb's group,
Community yard sale.
yeah, a community yard sale. We were able to raise over $900 in 5 hours on, like I said, the hottest day. I've never sweat so much in my life, but it was a great success. So it was well worth it to achieve that amount of donations that we received.
Yeah. So if you have any questions for us, if we're not out of time, I don't want to keep you from your main business, but if you have any questions for us, we'll be happy to answer them. And thank you for having us today.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I think another thing that is really great about our group is that, you know, we're able to let people know that they're not alone in this overwhelming task. Obviously, the reason why we have these community cats are they are abandoned or they are product of unfixed cats. So we have made it aware that strays and ferals are able to get either a low cost or no cost spay and neuter, which includes vaccinations, add, fix, and save, spay and neuter. A lot of people, you know, are financially strapped and therefore they just keep feeding. And there's a saying, if you feed them, fix them. So a lot of people are aware of this and they're like, okay, I feel like I'm at least winning half the battle here by getting these animals fixed. And they're not incurring an expense themselves for that type of care. So I think that's one of the hugest things that we've been able to do is help spread the word of that to help minimize the future number of community cats that is constantly growing.
And to bolster each other, because it's hard work.
It is.
It really is.
Do you guys, I can't remember when I looked at your Facebook group, do you have a phone number if somebody wanted to reach out? Because I know somebody with a cat colony, it's on your flyer. She's not on Facebook, and so I was wondering how we could get people connected that aren't on social media.
That aren't on Facebook?
That aren't on social media.
Oh, okay, yes, they can, yeah, I mean,
We can provide a phone number or our personal emails are also available on our flyer, I believe.
yeah, the flyer right here has our personal emails,
Okay.
but I don't mind giving a phone number, you know, so if you wanna
And we
pass
can
this
share
word.
that out in minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it that way.
But yeah, so it's been a pretty good start. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in the short amount of time that we've been doing this. And I really do feel like the community appreciates all of our efforts and feel that they're supported and have a place to go to get advice and things like
Yeah, and
that.
I strongly feel like this is a community effort, because these are community cats. I mean, they are in our area, their homes are where they live, whether anybody meant for them to do that or not. And it's kind of a community effort that needs to occur to make them healthier and therefore to make public health,
Yeah.
you know, a better thing in Gloucester County and Mathews and Middlesex too. So we really see this as a community effort.
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Questions?
Sure.
Hi, everybody, I'm Shirley. Thank you for sharing the council. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate all the hard work. I actually have a question in regards to the camps. And what is the age limit for the camps?
They did 2 different camps this year, and the age limit was 6 to 10, and then 11 to 15. And
then,
they could take 20 children per camp.
okay, and then for the actually come in and read, pull a pup and read?
There's no age limit.
No
It's
age
free.
limit, but
You
the
just
parent
walk
has to be
in during our
available.
business hours. You can bring your own book, or we do have a small library in the corner by the small animal room, and just come in and read at any time. You don't have to check in. Now, if you want the card, you just come up to the front desk and go pirate theme this year, and they will write the child's name on it, and they do punches for how many books they've read. With little cool gold coins, stickers, tattoos, things like that, necklaces.
A final thing too, that's a program of GMHS for those 43 cats out there in their colony. This is a working cat program. that the shelter has long proposed and has underway. And if you have a business that has mice, or a barn that has mice, or you know
Rats.
someone that does, or rats, these cats are available free, and they're fixed, and they're healthy, and they will come and they will work for you in order to have a home. So I'm gonna pass these out. If you yourself don't have a way to help these particular cats that are already in the care of GMHS, then you might pass it along to someone else who might use it.
Anything else?
I didn't have a question, but I just wanted to tell you that I got my cat, which is named Freddie Giorgio now, but his name was a big booper when I bought him from there.
Aw.
And he's the best.
Aw.
I love my
Creative with names.
Yes.
I do have a question. You mentioned a dog park at the facility that is potential, something that you're looking towards.
It is in the works. Now, that will probably be next year, but Gloucester County does not really have any place to take your dog and let them run around if you don't have a backyard. So yes, they are looking at a dog park there, but our director, our board does not care if it is after hours at the shelter. We have the big, it's not really a dog park, but it's a play yard. You can come there, bring your dogs. We close, we're out of there by 6. So after 6 or early in the morning, because they do get there at 7:30, 8. You're more than welcome, just please pick up your food. We have bags.
Great. Anyone else? All right, well, thank you all so much.
Thank you,
for presenting
guys.
today.
Thanks.
Thank you.